Hello, fellow compatriots, and welcome to another video in regards to ascending depths. Now, without any further ado, we're going to be talking about the development and set design of when it comes to ascending depths. In this video in particular, I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a behind the scenes of what I've been working on in terms of the new building system, because I had some questions in regards to the new building system, and I haven't really shown that much of anything. And that's what this video specifically is going to be all about. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Broken down every creature, character, vehicle, and structure down to their basic shapes. Only then did I see a world of geometric in its design. It was from there that I saw the missing link. A building block that wasn't always a prism, but an object that could be morphed to transform one thing into another by simply adding another quote-unquote building block. And with the help of a fan, I called this new building system in the year of 2021 T.R.I.B.S, the tailored, reconstructible, intuitive building system. With T.R.I.B.S, you can create anything without fear of gaps, yet still keeping agreeable if you so choose. Builds could be completely smooth if you wanted them to. Not only that, but with how intuitive the new building system is, it would be easy for me to produce in large quantities. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of parts here. So, with this building system in particular, let me go ahead and specify, before I go into anything, this building system will allow you to create creatures, humanoids, fantastical things, as well as architecture and vehicles. All of that, and it blends together CCBS with OG Bionicle, Technic, and system, all wrapped into one. Now, of course, these are just rough prototypes of one of the first renders of this building system. So again, let's go focus a little bit on like the heads in particular. Now, the heads here, as you can see, this was one of the first early renders of these heads in the ghost white, because I found it to be a very practical color for prototyping. And as you can see, it has a socket connection, and it has a bar and clip connection on the sides of the head, but no mouth connection. That's because, like, I wanted to make it feel very human in its, like, nature. Like humanoid enough, but still like bordering on, it almost kind of looks like a skull, but not really. And then the brain, which is an actual literal brain. There will be brains in ascending depths. Each character has a brain inside of them, and you'll be able to collect your own brain to be the smartest person ever. And of course, you know, the eyes, they look quite lovely, but you can also interchange them to be different colors if you so please. There's also black ones as well that you can also utilize quite nicely, a black one, and you also got a gray head as well. They clip in quite nicely, quite snugly in fact. However, the heads were too small for the building system. As you can see, these effectively shells are massive, even though they're not really shells. These are actually the All right, the best way I can describe it in terms of CCBS. We're gonna view this like CCBS, even though it's not CCBS. So you got your skeleton, right? And then you have the flesh. And then you put skin over the flesh. And then once you put the skin on, then you can put the armor, clothing, or what have you. This is what this does. This is not a shell. This is muscle. These are muscles, effectively. And I was testing different colors. And the actual skin, which you may call a shell, if you wanted to. That would be more appropriate to call what goes over this a shell. That gets covered by these. So these are all just muscle elements that I have effectively made here. And I just came up with that term just now. I think that would be a proper term to call them, is muscle. Now, the bones, interestingly enough, but first, let me talk about the heads. Now, funny thing about this head in particular, I was trying to make orange. This is not the same orange. This is the Lego orange, the reddish orange that Lego came out with recently. However, this came before Lego did their introduction of that orange. In fact, this was made in 2023. These are old prototypes. These are all old. And yet, I came up with this color before Lego did, which is kind of funny. Couldn't share anyone though, because this was still in development last year. But with the building system, the idea was, because I'm going to be scrapping this, because the figures are going to be too big. That's the main reason why I scrapped the skeletal system. So the skeletal augmentation system, the SAS, if you will, was an idea where you can actually create your own bones in different shapes and designs with a micro building system. So axles are literally split into two. You can combine them. You can get different axle lengths. You can add different connectors in between the meshings and everything. And you can adjust the position and where you want the ball to be. So you can have it here. You can have it down at the end so that you can go ahead and create your own creature or what have you. You can have it even more up close to the end if you want. You can still have an axle go all the way through. It would also be designed to have an axle right here, and it would have been even also possible for you to run an axle through the socket and still have something in the middle. This was all going to be factored in to the SAS system. However, I had to scrap it because, as you may have noticed, with the muscle elements, they were actually going to be quite large. So having something this thin as effectively your bones might not be the best move. So they're going to be thicker, they're going to be stronger, more rigid, but they're not going to be imitating CCBS all the way. You're still going to be able to make your own bones and skeletons and frames intertwined with the muscle so that you can go ahead and put any type of skin you want and then go with that. However, so I was testing out injection molding for these elements and see how they would operate, where the bubbles would appear, and so on and so forth. And because if I'm going to be making a lot of these, it's good to know, do a little bit of research on how they would act on a runner. So each part is made effectively on a runner, and then I'll be able to pop it off the runner and then make the next part. And this was tested out with resin, as you can clearly see. I was testing like different colors and so forth, see how they react. But as you can clearly see, these have a lot of bubbles in them. And that also includes like the smaller variants of these elements as well. This was injected into twice. Some of these have been injected into twice so that I can check to see the properties and how and what areas were filled versus what areas were not filled. And that's how You get all these wild, like, marbling and all that stuff with all of these bones. But, these, not bones, the flesh. Flesh. But, yeah, this is not it, however, because, like I said, these were made a long time ago, and the new ones are in the earliest form of modeling. These are the earliest models of the new design, and you can tell they are a lot more cleaner and a lot more sharper. And molds have still yet to be made of them because they still need the connector. I am debating pin or socket. That is the rundown right now in terms of the connection point. But that's not all, because I also was working on some canisters. So this was like a botched copy of one of the canisters that I've made. However, this design is scrapped. This model of it is scrapped. Because I'm going to be making a much more cleaner, much more refined version of the sculpt. Because this is not the final version. And I am not satisfied of it. The idea is to turn it into a seed. That was the effective idea. And I kind of like the folds it kind of has. I could use that for terrain for the lid. Because the idea is the lid is going to be in the bottom. And kind of like a rock sheet canister with these. But yeah, so that was the plan with these. And it kind of has a nice effect. You can see a little bit of pink in there too. Which is kind of lovely. I kind of like it. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on in terms of the building system, T.R.I.B.S. You're going to see more muscle elements, you're going to see more bone elements, you're going to see more skin elements, and you're going to see mask, especially the mask are the skin. Skin, mask, same thing. That may be a confusing sentence, but it's going to be a thing. Skin and mask, same thing. What's a mask and what's a skin? I don't know. They both look the same. So that's what's going to be happening in terms of mask for Ascending Depths. But yeah, that's about it for now. If you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you want to go ahead and see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. But I believe that is all for now. So if you like this video, why not leave it a like? And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. This is your host, T.R.I.B.S here. Signing off. Bye, guys. Look at them. They're beautiful. They're beautiful.